good.
Con los terroristas.
Hi, I'm Derek Ross, and welcome to Android Authority On Air, the original Android Hangout show on Google+. I'm also joined with Scott Anderson, King of the Harlem Shake, Joshua Vergara, and Jonathan Franklin, and Dan Charlton. Thank you guys for showing up this week.
Nice.
Harlem Shake, a new meme making its way around the interwebs the past week or so.
What is that?
Isn't that thing we just did?
Oh, I thought we just regularly dress up like this.
Yeah, so, Google did one, Facebook did one, Intel, I guess, I didn't see that. Other companies are doing it, everybody's doing it, it's all over the news.
First of all, if you guys are watching or listening to this on SoundCloud, head over to YouTube, check it out, rate us.
Yeah, if you want to see Scott Anderson in Valentine's Day red boxers and nothing
I go all
else.
the way. It was in the feedback. You guys put it in the feedback list last week. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so head on over to YouTube if you want to see Scott dressed like that. All right, so this week in the world of Android, version 4.2.2 started to roll out to Nexus devices. We had some significant app updates. We're just going to talk about a couple big ones here that they are popular apps and big changes coming to them. Some more rumors because now that's the time of year it is. New phones coming out. We have rumors about new devices and a little bit of rootin' and ramen news just because, well, we like to talk about rootin' and ramen. So, as I said, Android 4.2.2 began rolling out this week to Nexus devices, such as the Galaxy Nexus, the Nexus 7, Wi-Fi and 3G, Nexus 10, and the Nexus 4.
And it started rolling out to which one first?
It started to roll out to the Nexus 7 and Nexus 10 and GSM Galaxy Nexus first. Nexus 4 actually was about 2 days later.
Yeah, I wonder.
But everybody has now had those updates roll out to them, except for the redheaded stepchilds, except for the bastards of the group, the Sprint and Verizon Galaxy Nexus. The Sprint version is now one update behind because it recently got 4.2.1, but the real bastard of the group, the Verizon Galaxy Nexus, is now 4 updates behind, officially.
Oh my God, it's still on 4.1?
It's still on 4.1.1. It never got 4.1.2. It never got 4.2, 4.2.1, and the new... Yeah, it's... that's bad for a Nexus device. 4 updates behind.
It's only halfway a Nexus device.
Well, that's debatable. I call it a Nexus device, but I'm getting hard to fight for it.
Yeah.
So Dan,
yeah,
I can't.
If that's not a reason to start rooting and flashing your Galaxy Nexus, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jelly Bean came out at Google I/O of last year. What month was this? I mean, we're
No. Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
Summer of last year.
Yeah, last summer. Almost a year. A little less than a year ago.
So, Android 4.2.2, we don't have an official change log, but we have some unofficial changes that people from the Android community and around the web have been picking up on and noticing, as well as us, using it on our devices as well.
A big one that they changed in the Play Store is battery life.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not really a change. I mean, okay, now
it kind of is. It's an upgrade for the battery life. And
It's not, though.
Battery life before said you could get 10 hours of e-reading, 8 hours of HD video. So now they just changed it saying up to 10 hours.
Yeah. like the wording.
That's not a change. They just didn't list, you can get 8 hours if you do this. You can get 9 hours if you do this. You get 10 if you do this. They just made it simpler and easier because that's what the competition does. It's not a change. I don't think we need to talk about it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I completely agree. And plus, it's always gotten that good a battery life. This isn't anything new or special about it. It's just as good as it's always been.
Dan, have you changed form?
I have.
Interesting. For those of you listening, Dan is a white screen of his name right now. It's pretty interesting.
He's transformed into a dragon.
Yes.
He better transform back pretty soon. All right. So what we got with community kind of unveiled stuff?
Well, so we have actually toggles via quick settings. You know, before when 4.2 first came out, everyone's like, yeah, these are awesome. We don't need to root to get our quick toggles. And then you're like, oh, they're not. They really are what they're called. They're just quick settings. They're a quick access to settings and take the exact same amount of taps to disable Wi-Fi, disable Bluetooth. So they really weren't, in my opinion, what I wanted. While it was cool, but it still took the exact same amount of taps to turn stuff off. Now, with 4.2.2, you can long press Bluetooth and Wi-Fi to disable them or enable them, so they are true toggles now. So that's nice. I like that. I'm a big fan of things that save me time, and that's good.
I think it'd be better if they reversed it, though. If you tap it to enable or disable, and then long press to go into the menu, but whatever their reason was.
It's like cyanogen and all the other ROMs.
Yeah, I agree there. Yeah, I agree. ADB got a little more secure. So those of you that are into rootin' and ramen, this is cool. If you're not, then this really doesn't apply to you that much. But you'll be happy to know that if you were to lose your device, this makes it harder for somebody to use ADB hackery to steal your data. So real quick, non-too technical term, what it does is it uses your computer's like fingerprint, with it's called an RSA key, and it saves that to a whitelist the first time that computer connects to your Nexus device. So you want to, let's say, hook your Nexus 7 up to ADB, it's going to pop up with a window saying, hey, are you sure you want to allow this computer with this key to connect? And you're saying, why, yes, I do. And then you're good to go. Now, if your device doesn't have a passcode on it or a lock screen, protection one way or another, then that doesn't matter, because the person that steals your phone is going to hit, yes, I do allow ADB access. So if you have the lock protection on your device, then they won't be able to hit yes, allow this connection, and they won't be able to get into your device through ADB and do all sorts of fun stuff. So once again, lock your devices. You're only as good as your weakest security point. So,
but if you want to have the ease of unlocking your device, know that it's kind of a trade-off with security.
Yeah. But I'm one for locking your device. These, we have so much personal information on these things that it might take an extra 2 seconds to get into your device, but I think those 10 seconds out of your day, is well worth it, in my opinion. Hey, Dan's video's working. You got it fixed. Good job.
Oh my God, turn it off.
New gallery loading animation, so that it makes the gallery load a little bit faster in Android 4.2.2. Who doesn't like an app that loads faster when you're going to look at your pictures? Good deal.
Yeah, that's nice.
When you're downloading multiple apps, let's say from the Google Play Store, you'll now see a progress bar indicating the time remaining with a percentage. It just kind of helps. Hey, if you got 10 apps queued up, you'll be able to say, oh, well, it's going to take another minute and 5 seconds. It's 3% done, or whatever. So, notifications is cool. I like that change.
One of the bigger fixes was the Bluetooth, right?
Yeah. So previously, when 4.2 came out, a lot of people said, "Oh, my audio, Bluetooth, it's skipping, it's hiccuping, yada yada yada. It's bad." So they fixed that. I tested it out myself on my Nexus 7. I didn't have any hiccups, any skips, or anything streaming audio to my little Bluetooth speaker here I got from my buddy Randy Kelly down at the Big Android Barbecue. It's the only Bluetooth speaker I had to test, and I tested that guy out, and it works great. Anyways, Bluetooth fix on multiple devices and new sound. So if you have a Nexus 4 and you're going to wirelessly charge it with the new charging orbs that are now available in the Play Store for $60.
$60.
You can. Well, hey, if you spend the money.
For a $300 phone, are you kidding me? A $60 charger?
It is overpriced, but hey, it's something that is fairly new to.
Okay, so if you're using the LG Pad, which is $40 or $50, depending on where you get it, all right. So if you're using a wireless charger, when it wirelessly charges, you're going to have a new ding, a new sound, and also a new battery alert sound, a low battery indicator sound.
Thank goodness, I hated the low battery indicator.
So now it's new. I'm waiting for my Nexus 7 to discharge enough so I hear it. And
it's available.
And a bunch of lag that people were talking about on, people complained that a lot of butter was gone on the Nexus 7. I'm not noticing any issues on my Nexus 7. It's a little smoother. Do you guys, agree, disagree that, lag is gone on 4.2.2?
Gone-er. I mean, it's improved. It's definitely improved. It's still present, depending on how much stuff you throw at it. At least that's what I've seen.
How about you, Dan? You're an expert in all things. How's your Nexus 7 working for you?
I haven't updated yet, but it's been working great on 4.2.1.
Okay, so Dan didn't update yet. Do you have the update available to your device yet, Dan? Are you going to ADB sideload it, or you just,
I mean, it's running a custom ROM, so no, the update has not popped up for me.
Okay.
But I could very easily get it.
And that's one of the perks of being a Nexus device. The images are actually available now. So if you wanted to test it out for yourself and flash a back to stock, you can go and download the custom or the factory images. Now, one thing with the Nexus 4 that's a little different than the other devices, it received a radio update. And said radio update did something for those of you that were using LTE unsupportedly on your Nexus 4. The Nexus 4 no longer has LTE capabilities. With that radio code update broke it, took it away. So, sad face. However, if you do live in an AT&T supported area or in Canada, that has
by AT&T supported area, you mean like one of the 8 places on the planet?
Yeah, there's not too many places.
They don't really have AWS LTE in any kind of like commercial deployment.
Yeah, but they do have it in various large markets.
And T-Mobile is rolling it out, but AT&T not so much.
So if you live in a supported area, I'm pretty sure if you flash the old 4.2.1 radio, LTE will work again. I haven't confirmed that. I put it out for a few people that do live in the areas to test. They haven't gotten back to me yet. But as well as people were talking about it on XDA a little bit later, I noticed. So I'm sure a custom ROM and or just the radio itself will fix that in the near future. For those of you that want to use LTE unofficially on your Nexus 4.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So who uses Minus, the popular free cloud storage app?
I was big into it when it was strictly cloud storage when it first came out, and I use it for huge file backup.
Yeah, so if you're watching the show in the comments, let us know if you're a fan of Minus, if you still use it for storage or if you've recently moved away from it. The reason I ask is everybody used it in the beginning. It was tons of free storage. So everyone tried it out. A lot of people stayed with it, and a lot of people not. Those of you that left, some kind of left when it turned into almost like a photo sharing app. And now, today, for Valentine's Day, they pushed out a massive overhaul on the app to where it became a photo sharing social network. It's a location-based photo sharing network like Instagram, but only it's called Minus. So they completely changed their direction. It's really, really, really weird.
That is weird.
I don't really know what to say. I mean, to talk about what the app does, you can share your photos to everyone near you. You can see what others are sharing nearby. Like I said, it's location-based. Whoever's around you, you can browse their photos and say hello. So you're at the lake and somebody shares a picture of the lake and you see it on mine and you're like, oh, hey, I'm here too. I'm not stalking you. I just saw your photo pop up nearby.
Right, not stalking.
If you don't like the direction that they're headed, they did say to Android Police in a private message today that they're still going to support people in the Android community. You can still download the APK if you don't want to upgrade, and they're going to also support galleries on the website and plan on integrating it into to future apps as well. Blah blah blah. Hey, we're moving forward.
So basically, they're saying if you think this totally random new direction sucks, you can still have the old thing too.
which is
always update the old thing to be compatible with every upcoming Android version. It's kind of useless.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. I mean that's just like trying to think. I mean that's like Flickr saying one day, "Hey, we're gonna no longer accept photos." But if you want to, I'm saying as an example, let's say Flickr said, "Hey, we're no longer going to accept photos, but we're going to accept random cloud storage files and become like MediaFire, but no more photos." It's just, it's just weird.
It's very odd.
Yeah, it's strange.
So, like I said, if you use Minus now, are you going to try it out? This new social network, have you already tried it out? Have you found somebody to stalk close by and sent them a private message through the new feature?
I'm sure Scott already has.
Oh yeah, I found several people.
Yeah, if you live in Minnesota and you see S. Anderson
with red undies.
With red undies.
Doing the Harlem Shake.
Uploading photos of himself with the Harlem Shake. You know who it is.
Run away. Run away.
Any white guy that's in a dew cap and a hoodie.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy.
So,
it's Minnesota, let's be serious. Any guy.
Yeah, that's how we all dress. That's how I go out in public every day.
All right, so Google Now. Google Now, I love it. I use it, contextually every day. Dan, how about you?
Google Now?
Yeah,
at least in some capacity.
Yeah, I use it every day as well.
Yep,
Josh,
every day here. Also, yeah,
John?
I keep telling people you got to use Google Now more often. It's really that great.
And you know what? The more you move around, if you stay put in your house all day, yeah, it's not going to be the greatest app. But
yeah, it's going to tell you the weather. That's what it's going to do.
And
nearby events.
So many people say, it just tells me the weather, or it tells me that I need to go to work. I'm like, well, you need to use it more. The more that you use it, the better it becomes. And this week it got better and better. Is it true
if you don't use it, you lose it?
You know what? We haven't had a sexual reference yet this show, so there you go, Scott. Good job.
So Scott dancing around in boxers, I think, is a sexual reference.
Hey, it's Valentine's Day.
The entire episode.
It is, yeah. All right, so Google Now had a big update, and since it's an app we love, we'll talk about it here for a minute. I don't have Fandango around here for movie passes because I live in the middle of nowhere. But if you live in an area that supports it,
oh, no movie theaters for you.
You can. It has now, Fandango support by reading your Gmail, which is cool.
Yeah. Also, a big addition was college sports.
Yeah, college sports now you can actually manually search for it.
Specifically college basketball, not yet football.
Well, college sports in general, there was a big uproar of.
Well, if you search for football, you're going to be waiting a while for those scores to come in. So I understand that they're just doing basketball now.
Yeah, but still, there's other sports. What about college hockey?
True. You know what? I'm going to want that another year in
Minnesota, Scott. These are big hockey places.
Penn State gets their
Where's
team.
my college hockey?
Just because I'm in Minnesota doesn't mean I play hockey.
So Rotten Tomatoes now show up on movie ratings. So right now, I don't know about you guys, but I normally go see a movie on Friday or Saturday. Well, when I see a movie, I don't go out.
That's an odd day to see a movie.
On a Friday or Saturday night?
You should go see movies on Tuesday.
Well, anyways, every Friday and Saturday night I get movie updates from the local theater. See, my theater's big enough to be on there. We don't have Fandango, but we're on Google Now. So the updates for the movie listings are now going to have Rotten Tomato ratings on it. That's good. Let me know if I need to go see it or not. And then real estate listings. So if you're searching the web for houses in Detroit, Michigan, because you want to move up there and be close to Dan, the next time you're in Detroit, you're going to have a Google Now card say, hey, look, you're looking for houses around here to buy, and it's going to give you real estate listings. I tested it for my area, and it works. It's pretty neat. The new listings are from Zillow. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, Google Now keeps getting better and better, and I'm very anxious to see what comes in Android. Well, with the next Key Lime Pie, or the next major release of Android, I think Google Now is going to play a big part. So, moving on to big app updates this week. Plex. Anybody a big fan of Plex or use Plex?
I use it all the time, Derek.
I do. Yeah, I use it every day, so I got to talk about it. I feel like I've been talking forever, but oh well. Plex. All right, so short version. Plex allows you to stream media from your computer to your Android device, your Google TV device, whatever. They have a decent app out there now, but in terms of Android UI design, it could be a little bit better. So they said, you know what, we're going to set out to design the best Android app possible, and they did a little teaser video this week, and it looks awesome. It's completely redone. A little bit of hollow in there. I love it. From what I've seen, if you're a Plex Pass subscriber, you will be able to get that first, and then soon it'll be available to everybody. But right now, it's only available to Plex Pass subscribers. Or I'm sorry, it will be available. It's not available yet. So supposedly it'll be available by the end of the week, and I guess that's tomorrow or Saturday. So it should be pretty soon. It should be available. I'll let you guys know what I think of it when I'm running it on my Nexus 7. The other big app I want to talk about, and then we're done with boring app news, I swear, is Dashclock. Who's tried that out? The app from Roman Yurk. He got it in the Play Store.
Yeah, it's nice. It's very simplistic but informative.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of functional simplicity there. It looks like the original stock Android clock, which is good because it's very easy and elegant on the eyes, stuff like that. But you can add a bunch of widgets on there to get some extra information. And the cool thing I liked about it was that you can put it on your lock screen, which is really dope.
Yeah, so your lock screen, your home screen, and it has the ability to have extensions on it. So he put 2 extensions in it initially, weather and
missed calls,
weather and calendar, I believe.
Calendar,
Gmail, whatever.
Does anybody else think that this is essentially what 4.2's lock screen widget should have been to begin with?
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Without all the excess,
So, well, what I was saying is that other developers can put apps on the Play Store to add functionality to that. So Falcon Pro actually was updated to allow Twitter integration. Somebody put a currency extension out there. There's a what else is there? There's other ones. I could pull up my Nexus 7 to look at it here. What other? Oh, battery. Yeah, there's a battery out there, so you can see your battery discharge or charging and percentage left, the battery temperature and the voltage and everything. So, and the battery health. So yeah, I'm sure we're going to see a lot more extensions added over the next few weeks as more and more people use this as it becomes more popular. I love it. I think it's awesome. Everybody should try it out. It's called Dashclock. It's a widget, as Josh said, for your lock widget screen and your home screen if you're on 4.2.
Yeah,
I said that backwards, but you know what I meant.
It'll be a good base to eventually build off of.
Definitely.
All right, let's move on to some device news, shall we?
Yes. We'll talk about the HTC One M7. Well, I don't know what, apparently it is definitely going to be called the One, the HTC One, which is confusing as hell.
It is.
Because, a year ago, the HTC One X, S, and V came out. 6 months later or so, the One X Plus came out. So now we're just going to have the One.
And only.
Yeah, so there better not be a deviation to this or an upgraded version of this because this is the One.
I think it's going to confuse people. The average person is going to look at that and be like, oh, so the One X Plus is the best, right?
No, just the One. X Plus? No, One.
No.
But the
Just
thing
the
is,
one.
you know, that they're trying to build a brand, just like Samsung is with the Galaxies, and you know,
Then pick one and stick with it.
well, I mean, they are kind of sticking with the 1 series.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
mean,
now remember, they are coming out with another phone, the G2, which is a 3.5-inch screen with a single core 1 gigahertz processor. It's going to be a very low-end model. I'm curious to see, what that's about. But hey, it's going to rock Sense 5.0, I guess. So hey, I'm all for cheap phones, I guess. Until that cheap phone 6 months from now sucks, and people complain about the cheap phone that they bought, and Android sucks because this phone sucks. And yeah, I have a lot of opinions about that. You buy a low-end phone, and then 6 months later you complain that the phone sucks, and
or
Android
6
sucks.
minutes later.
Well, that's the case with any old phone, though. You buy a 3GS right now, and it's going to suck too.
It's the same thing with a car as well.
All right. So, anyways,
Hashtag rant.
this
First
week
world
HTC
problems.
started to leak stuff on their website. If you remember, next week, February 19th, I believe, they're having a event in London as well as New York City. Chances are they're gonna be announcing the M7/1/G2/ I don't know what's the other one called. Dan, we talked about it last week.
7/1 G2, and then
Something that's not worth it for us to remember.
some terrible little 320 by 280 screened 3.5 inch.
Yeah.
108 DPI.
So my real question is to everybody is, are you excited for the HTC One? That's what I want to talk about. It's going to be announced next week. Who wants to go buy it? Who's like, yes, I've been waiting for this thing. Everything else is shit. I need to buy this.
Question: will it have stock Android?
No.
Then no, thank you. That's my personal opinion.
I mean, somewhere out there's an HTC fan that is like, yeah, they're excited for this, and I want. There has to be.
You know what? I've always been an HTC fan, and
Yeah, you have.
I've just gotten fed up with them.
What have you gotten fed up with?
They're not outright hostile to the development community. They do everything they can to maintain the appearance of being open and accessible to the development community. And their unlocking program is realistically very good. It has some limitations that are annoying, but easy to bypass, and people make more of a deal about it than I think they should. But their inability to release kernel source in a timely fashion is just unacceptable. It's ridiculous. They are breaking the license under which they are releasing these devices. There are legal ramifications that ultimately it comes down to the fact that nobody has the money to sue them over it for. But if somebody did put up the money for it, they would lose.
So strictly kernel source, not like anything else.
It's not just that either. They do a lot of proprietary stuff that just makes it extremely difficult to work with their devices. They do a lot of stuff that they integrate into various pieces of the device in ways that it just shouldn't be, and it makes it impossible to work around.
And I guess you could say that they're trying to make
into the RIL, into the actual radio structure. The operating system has no business doing that in that kind of way. There's no reason that HTC needs to change the way that stock Android works with the radio layer. There's just no reason for that. And they do it anyway to make it more difficult to work with it.
Yeah, and there may be no reason for it, but Android you can. So and that's
sure,
what you got to
kind of. But they keep doing that, and they continue. They used to be the most open to development. They used to be the company that everybody wanted to get phones from when they were making the Nexus 1 and the HTC Evo and the Incredible and the Desire and the HD 2 that's freaking still running everything under the sun 2.5 years later, right? They used to make the phones that everybody wanted. And since then, they've started locking things down, making it harder to root their devices, making root more inaccessible, routing more of their system into the RIL and into other systems, making it less portable, less modifiable. Whereas Samsung has been abundantly open to the development community, going so far as to hire somebody like a Cyanogen, right? you can't get much more pro developer than hiring the guy behind CyanogenMod.
That's a point worth noting because it's almost that's almost when they flip-flopped in terms of sales, and they underplay. There might not be that many people rooting phones or unlocking phones compared to the majority of people on the market, but when your mom or your grandmom or something comes and asks, they're going to ask that person that's really into it. They're not asking average tech people, and that's really where your
that's where your word of mouth comes from.
Is really being fueled from is the enthusiast, and that's almost when HTC completely turned around and started losing out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not to suggest that CyanogenMod doesn't work hard on all the devices that they support and try to support, because I know that they do, and I know the developers involved with it, and I know the barriers with HTC devices that they've been facing. But they get much better access to Samsung for obvious reasons. And since then, Samsung devices have exploded in the market, Samsung usership in CyanogenMod has exploded, and release after release, you see Samsung devices supported first by them, and HTC distant second, third, fourth, fifth, if at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the Evo 3G, the entire 8x60 platform, so the Evo 3D, the Sensation, the Resound, the Holiday / Raider / they called it something else somewhere else, Vivid, I think. There's a whole slew of devices there. None of them ever got official CyanogenMod support for 9 or 8 or 10. And they won't, because it's just freaking impossible to work with them.
Yeah. Now let's start talking about LG. The Optimus G Pro, we know a little bit of stuff about it. It was outed before Mobile World Congress, coming up here. 1080p resolution, 5.5-inch screen, quad core. Nice specs.
Well, the Optimus G had really good specs already, so if you're going to
I mean, is it that big of a leap?
Yeah, I mean, they're great specs, but at this point, it's just kind of becoming, another quad-core 1.5 plus gigahertz Qualcomm processor with a 720 to 1080 screen between 4.5 and 5.5 inches.
Yeah, I think the big thing that's going to be more common that isn't common right now is the 1080p screens. And I think that'll be the thing that definitely gets a lot of people to switch, you know.
Yes, it's definitely a PowerPoint. It's not the drastic swap that QHD to 720p was, but it's still noticeable. But every flagship that comes out this year is going to have amazing specifications, and it's getting to the point that the mobile kind of stagnating compared to the first couple of years where we started off with 600 megahertz processors and
remember a year ago, Samsung pretty much told us that the spec was dead. Here's the Galaxy S4 or S3. Look at all this cool software stuff it can do.
The software is definitely going to be the differentiator, and it's wide open because every one of the OEMs from stock has made changes for the sake of change and not necessarily for the better, but they can really, it's going to be whichever one of them kind of makes the bold move of making a really good decision there.
And I really hope that happens because as one of the device reviewers for Android Authority, I'm getting worried that next year, or in the coming year, every next review is just going to be, this has the same stuff as the last one except for this one thing. It's a 2-minute video. And then that's all it's going to be. You know, 1080p screens are awesome. I've used 2 now, Droid DNA and the Oppo, which, by the way, is a great phone, the Oppo Find 5.
It looks like it's really solidly built.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing. I was going to say earlier, I think HTC phones are some of the best built phones. Like they can stand up to a lot of punishment. The Oppo can also. Plus, it's pretty heavy, so you can tell there's that build quality there that's really good. But 1080p screens, as cool as they are, I don't see it being. I guess they're trying to tap into that television mentality, like more P. You know, like it's all they want on their TVs.
People know what full HD means, and 1080p has been all the rage in TV sales for years now.
Yeah, I think they're trying to push it bigger than what it really is. I mean, it's a progressive update. You know.
Well, it's progressive.
Is it so hard? Is it so hard to get a 1080p resolution on a 4.7-inch screen? Do they all have to be 5 inches? That's my question.
Cost effective
that are that small.
I mean, it doesn't have to be. But
It doesn't have to be, okay.
It's easier with LCD than LED. Samsung's really just kind of getting that started as to
OLED's been slower to the Pixel game.
yeah.
Okay.
But that'll improve, technology for different types of screens, and we'll get different types of screens at higher resolution. So I mean, there's still room for improvement, but progressive right now.
Yeah, I would say OLED in terms of pixel density and sort of quality at that pixel level is about a half a generation behind LCD. Especially when you're looking at the LCD2 and the LCD3 technology that HTC's been using. It's fantastic. It's top of the line displays in those HTC devices.
Yeah, so let's start. Okay, we went from HTC, LG, now HP.
Another P.
Yeah, another P. So, HP rumored to get an Tegra 4 tablet. Now, what was the last tablet that they made?
Touchpad.
Touchpad that I used.
What did that run?
That ran
Eventually ran 100
HP.
Officially, it ran HP WebOS.
Sometimes.
Okay, so WebOS. And how long did it take them to give up on that?
About
that's why they did the fire sale and sold them for $100.
No, I'm just trying to make the point that are they really going to be sticking with this, or are they going to be?
They bought WebOS from Palm, so then they decided to open source it because it was cool, but they didn't want to totally give it away. I mean, stop development on it completely. So
my question is, are they going to be sticking with it? Is this just a half-assed? Oh, let's do this, or is it let's go all in?
HP's really digging right now because even in their own territory on desktops, companies like Lenovo are really just taking over where they used to have.
Yeah, they're hurting bad.
Oh yeah.
So it's a question mark. They're probably just throwing anything they can against the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yep.
So
they're not pulling a Samsung in that regards.
So back to this rumor here, HP.
Devices.
Yeah.
HP, they made the touchpad. It started out extremely expensive, came down in price, then went to let's try to make a few bucks on it. Build quality.
A few bucks on it. I think they just try to get rid of them.
Let's lose a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Let's just these things are so bad. Just get them out of here. I don't care if you have to give them away.
So, do we want an HP's making Chromebooks now. So do we want an HP Android tablet?
Yes, we do.
I mean,
do we know that it's an Android tablet, or do we know that it's a Tegra 4 tablet?
The rumor was a Tegra 4 Android tablet.
Okay, let's assume it's going to be an Android tablet, Tegra 4. Do we want that? I say yes. I want more device manufacturers.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody that because HP's still got a little bit of a brand name going.
Yeah.
HP does have a brand name going for them. They might be able to sell some. And then I look back at the Dell Streak, and I just say, but that was a couple years ago. That was a while ago. Android has changed a lot since then. The tablet, the larger device market has changed a lot since then. So I'm curious to what they're going to bring to the table, but I just don't see it. I don't know. I don't see them putting out something that is going to awe everyone.
Yeah, I don't think so either. What could HP put into an Android tablet that hasn't been done already that is quintessentially HP? And I just can't think of that feature.
It has to be a lot of R&D and a lot of features that are specific to their tablets. Which
and I'm sorry to say this, but immediately what I think is a skinned themed custom UI Android device with all sorts of bloatware.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking too. If I turn on that Android tablet and HP punches me in the face through the screen, I'm not going to buy that tablet.
Yeah, and I wonder if people...
customer support.
Yeah, my tablet turned off. I wonder
death.
I wonder if a lot of the people just from the desktop market and the laptop market are pre-engraved with this notion of this is what the experience is going to be like. I'm going to get a lot of bloatware, and this is an HP device to me. I wonder if they're going to do that and not try out the device.
I think that's a lot of the reason that consumers haven't responded to these desktop companies that are trying to put tablets on the market. Like you've got Toshiba and Lenovo and a couple of other players, but a lot of the reason people are buying tablets is because of the perception that it's a simpler device to use from a Windows laptop or desktop or whatever, and that's the only bad thing about them having their name on it is they're going to associate that with what they've had in the past from, so it's...
So can they do anything to take that negative connotation with their name and... come out with something that people will be excited about? Do they have to start another small company and just produce the devices out of there? Or, I mean, what can they do?
As HP, they need to produce a extremely high-quality, build-quality device.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Highly spec'd, clean operating system, no hiccups, no performances, release it without a hitch, market the crap out of it, and sure, they can bust their way onto the scene. I absolutely believe that anybody can break into Samsung's lead in the Android market. It's totally open still.
But
they have to do it right.
But see, Dan, do you remember a year ago when HP said we're done with all desktop computers, we're not making them anymore? And then they're like, well, maybe not, And
they need to go all in.
That's why I don't think it's going to happen. I think it could happen, but I don't think they'll pull it off.
This makes me curious. Out of all of us here, does any of us do any of us have a HP device that we use regularly?
No.
And even at work, I'm a Dell shop. We don't have HP devices.
But question: why do we not have any HP devices?
We don't trust it. We don't trust the brand. It's going to break. For me, I owned an HP laptop, a 17-incher. It broke in 6 months.
Yeah, I had a bad experience with HP once, but the bloatware is not that big of a deal because you can just take it off.
But not to get off on this type of tangent, but the way the PC market is, as soon as one of us has a bad experience with any manufactured device, the first thing we say is, "Yep, all these are shit. Everything else is good."
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? And I will swear up and down how amazing Dell is because I've never had a problem with any server support with Dell. But the first time I have an issue, I'm probably going to be. That's the way we are. That's the way us. Techies are hard coded. We're that way.
On the other hand, I've never seen an HP laptop that wasn't falling apart and totally jank.
Yeah, my sister had one and hers was crap, and that kept.
I don't know anybody else who has either.
Even though I had a compact desktop as my first desktop, and it was.
Oh man,
it was actually a good computer, but.
What about Packard Bell, John? Back in
oh my God.
I had a Packard Bell. That was my first computer.
I played my first computer game on a Packard Bell. So.
It was a 486 DX250. I remember that bad boy. 4 megs of RAM, 9600 baud modem.
No.
It was top of the line. It had a tape backup drive.
That's right.
Yeah, that I never used, but hey, I had it.
People still use tape.
Yeah.
Well, I use tape for other things.
Oh, anyway, so less tangents, more Android. Let's talk about some Android updates for devices. The Droid DNA, this awesome little thing.
Oh, don't you dare lie to our audience.
What? This thing is great. I love
this awesome little thing that you hate.
You know what? It's so awesome. I have this update here pending that I'm just not going to click yet. But I have it. I could click that update and I could get it. So if you're rocking the Droid DNA and you like the phone, that's cool. You want this update, and why do you want this update? Well, you can do Hulu Plus. Hotspot connectivity has been fixed, and right now I'll tell you the Droid DNA's hotspot. The Verizon hotspot app sucks.
More like a cold start.
You will get horrible download speeds. Your connectivity will drop. You'll get dropped packets, meaning web pages won't load, and then sometimes they will. It's horrible. I had to install Wi-Fi tether for root users to even tether on my my DNA every single time because the stock one sucks. Well, Verizon / HTC fixed it. Whoever was at fault, and that has been fixed on the updates. You're going for that. They have improvements for audio quality for wired headsets as well as earpieces have been made. So that means Beats audio improvements. That's what I'm hearing. As I said, there's been some Bluetooth connectivity issues fixed for volume levels fixed. So those of you that are using Bluetooth speakers, such as this little guy I was talking about earlier, that should sound more awesome with the update. There's been enhanced reliability and stability of the contacts list. Wi-Fi connectivity has been improved. I heard a lot of people actually talking about that. I personally haven't had any Wi-Fi issues. Neither has one of my friends that has the DNA that we talk about the phone all the time. He hasn't mentioned any Wi-Fi issues, so it might be intermittent. There's been improvements to the default browser. If you use HTC's browser, I use Chrome. That I don't really care about that, but there's some people like it. And I'm curious to find out what the enhanced recent apps functionality improvement is. HTC, as you know, has their own customization for recents,
which is horrible.
Yeah, I would show you, but I have Jelly Bean recents menu on here. But I'm curious as to what that improvement is.
I am too, yeah.
So I'm sure we'll start seeing shots here in the near future.
Is that the improvement?
No, this is just the regular recent apps one.
Yeah, so you can
How
only...
could you improve this? Like, what is this?
Well,
more than one would be nice.
Well, you can't swipe down to kill an app. You can only swipe up. I don't know. I don't know. Either way, they improved it somehow. So I'm curious, Josh, if you're going to get the update. I don't know if you're stock or not.
I'll try it. I mean, I literally just got this about a week or so ago, and I like it. It made me understand why 1080p screens are kind of cool. But I'm interested in the audio quality improvements, because how do you improve Beats audio when essentially all it does is make things louder? Do you make it louder?
It makes it louder.
Yeah, louder. Yeah.
I mean,
more
it's just a response to the equalizer, because all it is just a custom EQ set.
Yeah,
it's an equalizer.
It turns your EQ into a smiley face, basically.
It's a hardware chip, and it's
not.
really good. I know.
All right, so
I'm not gonna lie though. I actually think Beats audio is pretty good, but I'm just curious what the improvements could possibly be.
Oh yeah, that thing sounds amazing when you use Bluetooth or a headset. It really does. So on to Rootin' and Ramen. Those of you that rock CyanogenMod on your Android 4.1 or 4.2.1 device, the first question in your mind is, when am I getting 4.2.2? Well, earlier tonight, CyanogenMod on Google Plus shared a screenshot showing the Mako, the Nexus 4, running Android 4.2.2.
Interesting.
So that means, hey, it's coming. No ETAs. We obviously knew it's coming. I mean, that's what they do. So, yeah, it'll be around in the near future. Fingers crossed, confidence high. They don't have a lot of problems merging in all of their changes. They made a post actually a little bit talking about that. Some things look like they're going to be a pain. Some things look like they're going to be not too hard. And it's obviously some of the things like graphic stuff is device dependent. So we'll see. I'm sure they'll do their best, and we'll have some CM10.1, Android 4.2.2 ROMs here in the near future, I'm assuming.
Wasn't there an update to a ROM manager for Delta ROM updates?
Yeah. It's a Delta ROM update, so that just means you don't have to download a 200 meg ROM or 100 meg
cool.
ROM. If the ROM only has 4 megs of changes, that's all you have to download, which is awesome.
I cannot wait till that is the future. It will be really nice.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a ROM over-the-air update,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. But you don't have to wait for it because it gets pushed out before everything.
I'll try it. Definitely. I haven't used ROM Manager in a while, but I'll definitely try it out here once I have a device that works with ROM Manager, because this guy here doesn't really have any ROMs for it.
Does that make phone calls?
Yes.
I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, you can make phone calls with this device. You can take pictures with it.
No way.
Yeah,
I don't believe you.
But in terms of a custom ROM,
it's an iPod.
So can it run apps?
It's an MP3 player, and it's an internet connectivity device.
Does it have access to iTunes?
Yeah.
Can it run apps?
I'm buying this iPhone because I want to send text messages.
Oh my god.
You remember that video?
Because it's got a retina display.
That chick was waiting in line so why are you waiting in line to buy the iPhone 5? Well, what do you plan on doing with it? Well,
it's an iPhone 5. It has the Wi-Fi's.
I'm gonna say Wi-Fi, no service.
It has the Wi-Fi's and the GBs.
And the GBs.
Is this the line for apps?
Yeah, is this the line for apps?
Great marketing campaign. Great marketing. They really hit the nail on the head with that marketing campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm curious. The other big kids in the block. We kind of got off on another tangent there, but the other big kids in the block, Paranoid Android. They're another AOSP built ROM. I'm sure they'll be telling us when 4.2.2 goodness will be coming to them. They just pushed out Pi version 3.0 actually. So if you followed our show a few weeks ago, we actually had one of their developers, Aaron, on the show to talk about the ROM, and those guys are doing some really cool stuff. And he's a hell of a nice guy. I'm excited that to see them push out the full version of Paranoid Android 3 with full working Pi and everything on their devices this past week.
Also, the Galaxy S4 looks like Samsung's going to be ramped up for that release as well, with a lot of units ready.
Well, I assume so. They're going to sell 100 million units, supposedly.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, and it'll be interesting to see if they can top it.
I'm curious.
There will be a 1080p screen, so that will be a push.
Really? That's so shocking. That's so unusual for a new top-line device.
Well, since
is it going to have a 1.5 to 1.7 gigahertz quad-core Qualcomm S4?
Oh my God! How did you know?
Adreno 320.
Let's talk.
No,
about
not 320. We don't play that. We don't roll that way.
So Dan,
GSM, CDMA.
we had a leak earlier from
NFC, Bluetooth 4.0, Wi-Fi, BGN, and that other one.
Dan, are you predicting all the devices right now?
So Dan, we're not going to see it with Bluetooth 4.0?
No.
Is that because Bluetooth 4.0 doesn't exist?
That is why.
I think it's going to come with it.
All right, so Scott, do we have anything else to talk about this evening? Anybody have any comments? If you're watching the show live, you want to ask Scott, where he bought his boxers at.
Oh, I do want to mention feedback. Feedback is still open. Remember, whatever you put in feedback for me, I will do on the show. I'm going to start reading them this week. I'm excited.
You are going to start reading them? Okay, that's good.
Yes, I will.
Start.
You did
make start somewhere.
So call him out on that.
So remember, next week is episode 52. That means we've been around for a whole entire year. That's awesome. That means every week for a year I've been in the same damn hangout with Scott Anderson. I don't know if that's a plus oneable event or if that's like I should be sad.
We might have to give a little bit of background where we came from, now what we are.
We'll go into that next week. We'll do a history. One. What we'll do? We'll talk about all the different
video montage.
We'll talk about all the different developers that have been on the show. Since the first 6 months, that's all we did, and then the last 6 months we kind of slacked on that. I'm predicting the second season, or a season, right?
Ooh, a whole year season?
Yeah. We're
52 episodes, season 1. It's awesome. And
season 2, episode 1. We're gonna call it that. We will. We're not gonna call it episode 53. It's gonna be season 2, episode 1.
52 episodes is like an anime. Oh my God.
You know what? We should really do that.
For 59 of them, somebody's standing there going, powering up.
You know what?
If you guys like the seasons idea, let us know, because we will roll with it if you want us to.
It is a long season. We say year.
Now, season 2 is going to be a short season. It's only 6 episodes. So season 3 is actually season 3 will be starting slated for Q2.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! And there's going to be no cliffhanger. Okay, so you guys can find information on our show. You can watch us here live on YouTube. You can listen to us on SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher Radio. It has a nice UI now on Android. Also, if you go to the AndroidAuthority.com, scroll down to the bottom right, you see that on-air section after every show.
After every show, we do a little post about what we talked about. Do a little bit of a recap.
There we go. You know what, Scott? I'm going to interrupt you because I'm that guy. During our montage, we're going to talk about all the blunders we've made, such as Nexus backdoor.
Ooh, I like that. Would be an interesting.
About dicks.
That would be a good montage.
What'd you say, Dan?
Mhm.
Is that on here worthy?
All right. So, anyways, I'm sorry, Scott. Where can people find us at?
SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, Podbean, all over the interwebs. AndroidAuthority.com. AndroidAuthority.com. Scroll on to the bottom right on-air section. We do a recap of every most episodes. Yeah. And Google Plus page, Android Authority. If you want to tag along and comment and ask questions, if you have a question for us, we can answer
You should also check out our YouTube channel, Joshua Vergara. He knows what he's doing when it comes to videos. He's got
the best intros.
He's one of the masterminds behind our YouTube channel, and you know what? I love his intros. I honestly think I only watch the first 6 or 7 seconds, and then I'm done.
Oh, come on.
You know, I'm like, oh, it's all this. It's kind of like a Simpsons episode. You see what he you see what he does different every time.
I'm worried that that's going to be all I'm known for. Is like, yeah, people are going to come to my videos, and I get all my views just based on the first 20 seconds.
But it still counts as a view.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Stay tuned. If you don't mind me plugging, I got a couple things. I just sent out. I just put out yesterday the first edition of How I Android. It's a way for people to look at how we put together our Android phones, get some ideas on how you can customize yours. Other than that, we were talking about the wireless orb earlier, and just a little bit of a hint. We might be giving one away right after Mobile World Congress. So stay tuned on how to get that orb.
Much better.
I'm actually really interested in the How I Android segment. Are we gonna, be the whole Android Authority team gonna talk about how they rock their device?
Mm-hmm. I want it to become that at least. Right now it's going to be me, most likely Wookie. Maybe Joe will jump in on it if he finds time between his app reviews, and then we'll be able
hear that,
to.
Joe? I know you're watching right now. We want to see how you Android.
So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Well, everybody have a good night.
Terrorista.